basically what happened is we totally didn't just lose 10 minutes of footage. Uhtred, Kermit, Curtis, and Draylark are all riding the Iron Bull along with the princess, and it's being driven by Timmy too. So you guys have been basically going through the countryside since you stopped at that castle along the way, the one that Gregor had inherited. And Syra's currently there helping them set everything up and get all the pets situated and get all the people from the southern part of the continent back to the northern part of the continent so you can move your base around, basically. At the same time, you guys are now approaching the gates of the capital. So the guards are going to stop at the Iron Bull, and one of them comes up to the side and he knocks on the side window panel. Oi! Oi, what do you want? Show us some identification. Why are you here? Is this a tank?
I'm going to roll down the window.
You roll down the window.
Orale, senor. Would you like some papaya?
We got a bunch of bananas.
I did not know we had bananas, senor.
We had bananas in the back, senor.
I thought these were plantains.
Probably.
He's very, very confused at what you're talking about because he is not familiar with most of these fruits. I am going to roll to see if he understands what the fruits are. He rolls high enough. He rolled a 19. So he understands what all the fruits are, and he looks at it and says, "Oh, well, why do you want to come into the capital? Is this a tank?"
No, senor. We want to sell our papayas to the soldiers.
I got some strawberries, senor.
Oh, strawberries. My mother used to pick strawberries when I was a kid. How much?
I'm going to lean into Timmy. Floor it.
He nods and immediately pushes his foot down on the accelerator for the Iron Bull. As you are getting the strawberries just close enough to the guard so that he thinks he's getting them, but then you slowly start to pull away before the Iron Bull speeds up. He's running after it, and you can see that he's emotionally attached to the idea of getting the strawberries, and as soon as he realizes they're out of reach, he just stops and slinks his way back to the gate. Alright, so after that takes place, then you get to the actual royal courtyard where the castle is, and the princess kind of goes on a little bit of a tirade with the people outside so that they'll let you in, lower the gate to go inside. And as you go in, you're surrounded by guards, and a man in very, very ornate armor comes out of the front of the castle. Hi there! Well, do you lot want to introduce yourselves, or should we just push you back out the gate?
I'm going to roll down my window. I'm going to look at him and go, I have an offer you can't refuse.
I'm going to poke my Doom Slayer head out. Orale, senor. Would you like some papaya?
Oh, papaya salesman. I haven't had papayas in years. Certainly.
Dumbass, we're selling naranjas. Ay, chihuede.
You fucking pendejo. We are trying to sell tamales.
Fuck you, you caño. Give me the fucking papaya.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
No hablo Deutsch.
Sí.
I'm gonna poke my head back out like, Orale, Holmes. What do you want?
Maybe I should be asking you that question. You're the ones that As you're arguing with him, the back door of the Iron Bull opens. Her and Draylark step out, and she walks up. And it appears the man who is having the argument with Sham seems to know the princess. And he looks, he says, Veronica, we thought you were dead.
Curtis is going to start snapping his fingers like, hey, pinche cabron. Are you going to order something or not?
The guard captain pretty much puts his hand up as if telling you to shut the fuck up and looks over at her.
Okay, that'll be 3 carne asada tacos. You want some pico de gallo? You want some guacamole?
Oh, for God's sake. All right, yeah, pico de gallo, please. What, you ask? Okay, if it's too tough, then give me guacamole.
That's la guacamole, senor.
Then why did you ask if I wanted either? I don't understand what business you're running.
Alright, we are trying to run a business. If you're not going to order shit, then leave. Alright, next. Who's next?
Alright, the guards are now convinced that you're apparently a food truck, so they're gonna all start to order lunch while the guy in the ornate armor talks to the princess. Alright, well, you're stuck there. You're gonna have to take in some lunch orders because they're all shouting them at you right now. They're starting to form into a line. While the rest of the guys are, I'm assuming Uhtred and Kermit and Curtis are gonna handle that. Kay, do you want to help them since you're also playing in on this?
No quiero tarababa en esta amadilla coninas que cerveza lo blanco.
I'll take that as a yes. Alright, so Kane, Uhtred, and Curtis are all busy making food out of their own supplies, which you can't make tacos. I'm not going to say you can't, to feed these people, these guards that are basically coming to you for lunch. At the same time that you guys are doing that, and the princess is meeting up with the man in the ornate armor, Syra appears just outside of the Iron Bull, since she has her little homing gem on the inside of it, and she can beam there. Her hand also then, her spider hand, crawls out of the Iron Bull and then follows up by reattaching to her wrist.
I figured. What
So,
on Christ? What is happening? Why do we run a food truck now? What's going on?
Orale, señorita. Oh, do you want some food?
And I'm gonna turn away from him.
Two carnita tacos for the lady.
All right, princess, what's going on? Why are they retarded? Have they been smoking on the way here?
See?
I don't think they stopped smoking on the way here.
All right, that makes so much
Now
sense.
all of my dresses smell like green dragon.
Senor, do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior, the Basenra?
Oh, for God's sake, not another missionary. We'll talk about it later. Roll dexterity to throw a Bible at him.
That's just a 7.
Well, that's a 7, so it doesn't hit him. So you throw a Bible in the general area, it just kind of lands near him. He's just kind of ignore it right now, and he looks over to Syra and the princess. And the princess looks over to Syra and explains that, well, you know, the food truck thing is news to me too, honestly. But this is Samuel. He's the oldest son of the king. Zachary's older brother, the one I'm going to marry. Well, not him, the brother, not him.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that this was the one you were going to marry.
No.
I'll save my casual threats for the actual one then. Hello. Wonderful to meet you.
Charmed, I'm sure. You're...
Not to be trifled with.
Fair enough, Miss Knott.
She squints at him and raises her hand, and then just like,
He smirks a little bit. The princess explains that this is Samuel, who's the oldest son of the king. He's also the de facto captain of the royal guard. So he's there. He will bring you inside to meet with the king now that he knows that the princess is with you, and whenever the guys are done doing their food truck routine with the guards. Like, I'm assuming Syra's going to follow the princess inside because Samuel's going to bring her inside. But while you guys are waiting, I'm going to have Raka, Cham, and Kane. All of you guys are going to roll crafting rolls to see how good you are at giving these guards food. And then if you roll high enough, that will depend on how much gold you somehow make.
Shut your mouth, Nat 20. My tacos are on fucking point.
Oh my god.
My spices are the shiz.
Alright, that's not terrible either. That is also not terrible. Okay, Uhtred is really the one that's spearheading this whole thing. You are like Iron Chef. You are losing your mind in there. You're flinging knives and shit, and making gourmet food, and then Kermit and Curtis are just, adequate sous chefs. Because you all rolled that high, I'm going to say you make about 200 gold.
Nice. Laughs in Spanish.
So now that all the guards are fed, you can go inside of the castle and meet with the others if you wish.
I'm gonna lean over to Curtis and Kermit. Senors, I want to kill something.
See?
I'm gonna lean in. I ain't gonna say shit.
I'm going to say you guys, after your little conversation there, you go inside the castle, unless there's anything you want to do outside, so you can meet with... So Syra, Draylark, the princess, and Samuel are all meeting with the king as you guys pop in, King Mortimer. He's a little... Samuel is probably a man who's in his late 20s. The king is probably in his early 50s. Still physically capable, but starting to get kind of gray around the edges. And basically, they're kind of explaining to him about what happened with the Golden Dragon, and also they have news for you about that.
Do tell us what has happened with this golden dragon.
Well, unfortunately, we've gotten reports that it's ripped its way through a number of communities. It apparently leveled the following town to the ground. It burned several settlements in the Burn Hills, and then as soon as everything was done there, it went to the Imperial Circle of Mages. Right now they have it at bay. They have a shielding spell around their mage academy. It's been keeping the creature at bay for now. It seems intent on getting through, though. I don't know how long they'll have to hold out.
And where were the gods?
The gods were decimated by a lightning beam.
This is what happens when you don't follow the light of the Basumra child. And then he leans over to Curtis. One of those diversity hires, I bet.
So that's the update on the dragon. And at this point, the king kind of jumps in and says, well, I sent a raven off yesterday to Spellweaver Academy. This cloud that the dragon shrouds itself in is based on some sort of magic. Maybe we can circumvent it. Spellweaver has some of our greatest minds working on the problem now, including the Archmage. I would beseech you to go meet him. He may have something for you to do.
I'm gonna lean in. I've been in those clouds. Those clouds are nasty. You can launch lightning any way you want in that fucking cloud. It is not nice. It's not. I still get nightmares. This blade has pierced his flesh. I would do it again.
That's very noble of you, little frog man. But we need to make sure everybody else can hit it too. Seems that every projectile that's fired into that cloud somehow finds the ability to miss its target. It is not good. We need to get rid of it.
Yes. Inside that cloud, he controls the air current. He can shift whenever he wants. It's quite nasty for projectiles.
Yes, I can imagine. We did have another fort that was nearby called Fort Nero. That was leveled completely. They had a few survivors that basically told us the same thing.
I blame those fucking followers of the Bossum Ra. Such a shite fucking religion. And I'm gonna look at Uhtred.
If you smack him, I won't make you roll to hit.
Just gonna punt him across the room.
The only thing I'm gonna make you roll for that is a strength check to see how far he goes.
Can I do a reflex?
No, because you also think that you deserve this after that. Alright, so that's average for you. So it's basically like kicking a soccer ball. So as Curtis says that, he kind of looks over with this shit-eating grin on his face, despite the fact he has no teeth. And as that happens, Uhtred just kind of leans his foot back and lets about half of his strength go. Curtis then proceeds to fly across the room. You land actually on the breakfast table. So there's some food around you and stuff. It looks like there's some nice freshly boiled fish. And
as I'm laying down on the
potatoes.
table, I'm gonna reach in for a fish and just put it in my mouth.
There is a fish available, and you do that. It is delicious. Okay, so you got your lunch. So the king asked if you would be willing to go to Spellweaver Academy to help out the Archmage in any way you can to try and find a cure for this affliction, basically, to try and get it so that maybe you can find a way to get around that cloud.
Yes, however, there is the circumstance of where exactly the princess is going to be in these matters.
She will be staying in the castle with us, always under guard at all times. There is no safer place in Calgar than here. Also, Velnos' character has offered to stay behind as a personal bodyguard to make sure.
And as long as the disgusting elf is here, I suppose it's fine. Thank you, Your Grace.
All right.
It sounds amenable to me. Does everyone else agree with the plan?
Curtis is just over here feeding fucking fish to Ariel.
Don't waste the fish.
You can partake as well, there is plenty. The king says that you are welcome to eat after your long journey.
I'm gonna break off a piece of the table and start eating that.
So here's my question. How do you want to break that off? Do you want to just try and use your own physical strength to, like, break off a table leg?
Or like a corner of it, yeah.
Or a corner? Or are you going to, like, shoot it off with your rifle?
I'm gonna like try to use my physical strength to like break off a piece of the corner.
Okay, then roll strength for me.
Why are we faffing about in the king's chambers when we could go murder things?
Sometimes murdering gets boring. Sometimes you want to eat a table.
Oh, the lady has a point.
Alright.
Basumrath followers do occasionally feel the temptation for bloodshed.
Okay, so Kane, you break off a corner of the table and you stick it in your mouth and swallow it because you're a frog. You don't really chew food, you just sort of like engorge it. So you ate a chunk of the table. I'll have you roll Constitution later to see if that hurts coming out.
Probably will.
It probably will, yes. Alright, so now that is all set, you guys go and pile back into the Iron Bull, and the Iron Bull is going to make its way to Spellweaver Academy. You didn't roll high enough for a side quest on that one, so you're gonna wind up getting there. So what happens is this. So as you come up over a hill, you see a sprawling town that's spread out right before, and then in the very back is a massive mage tower. And there's basically a wall around the area, like the inner area of the university where all of the dormitories and stuff are for the students. The other remaining part of the town is dedicated to a lot of shops and general people that are living and people that work at the college. So all of that's there, but you guys can go right through the town all the way up to the Spellweaver Gates. And when you get to the Spellweaver Gates, the guards again stop you and ask for you to open the side door to the Iron Bull so they can ask you questions.
I'm gonna roll down the window.
What is your business here?
Orale, cabron. We are here on some food business. Would you like some tacos? We got some carnitas. We also got quesadilla.
Yeah, and we've got some Schnitzel back here as well.
Curtis is gonna look at fucking Uhtred. Okay.
I'm gonna give you the German suspenders for this part.
Lederhosen? Yes.
Yep, Lederhosen. I'll put Lederhosen on him for this. Roll bluff to see if you can convince the guard. Uhtred killed that, so he's hook, line, and sinker, so he gives you 5 gold and asks if you can get one of each. So you guys are handing out food to the guards, and he looks up at you. Well, unless you have a pass, I can't really let you through, or unless you're here on official business.
I'm gonna look him dead in the eye as I make his schnitzel, and I'm gonna slam the pork on the table and start smashing it with a mallet violently.
Roll intimidation. All right. The guard immediately shits himself, not from the food. And he looks at the other guard and says, they're official, let them through, let them through. We're cool, we're so fox.
Dankeschön.
Good lord, Timmy, have they always been like this?
Timmy, too, just simply looks over at you and says, I am here against my will. I drive the ship. That is all.
Timmy, I don't remember asking you to speak.
Timmy does not respond.
I'm gonna slide Timmy a burrito.
You give Timmy a burrito. You get the
No,
feeling
I
that he enjoys it.
immediately grab it and throw it out the window.
I want you to roll a dex check.
You
Sure,
know what? No,
kid's
fuck you. I'm
crying.
gonna burn a spell slot. I'm gonna power word command and make him throw it out the window.
Okay, you can do that. Does he have to beat a willpower roll for that?
He has to beat a willpower save of 32.
He doesn't have the ability to do that. Okay. Cham, what are you
Oh,
rolling
go.
for?
I'm doing a reflex save to grab as when he throws a burrito, launch my tongue and grab it so I can pull it back in.
All right, so you give him the burrito, and then he begins to try and eat it, but Arch casts his spell, and Timmy 2 immediately stops trying to eat the burrito, and then throws it away. Cham, as it's flying through the air, you shoot your tongue out and grab it before it hits the ground. Do you want to ingest it, or do you want to try to give it back to Timmy 2?
I'm gonna ingest it.
You eat that burrito after you pluck it out of the air, and Timmy 2 still remains hungry, but he doesn't show any form of slowing down. He's very dedicated to his task of driving the ship. So now that's happened, you guys are inside the gates of Spellweaver Academy.
I'm doing sleight of hand, passing Timmy a taco behind Cyrus' back.
Arch, if you want to try and discern what he's doing, I will allow you to roll a spot check. If you can beat a 22. It was almost a 19. Yeah, I did see that. All right, so that's a nope. Sorry, so he doesn't notice. So Cham, you're able to pass Timmy 2 a taco, and he very quickly scarfs that down, eats it, licks his lip, and immediately goes back to driving the ship. After that has happened, he also does not make eye contact with you at any time and keeps his eyes on the road. So now that you guys have moved through the outer gates of Spellweaver Academy, you've now come to the inner courtyard in front of the Mage Tower. And this is where you would be going into the Mage Tower to go meet with the Archmage. His office is at the top floor.
Oh my god, this is the place that freaking Kang killed the Archmage.
I'm pretty sure Veldos killed him by strangling him to death, and then you tossed him out of the top floor to splat on the ground. But yes, it is. You are back in that place again. Same courtyard. Exact same
I was gonna
courtyard.
say, is there an imprint on the ground in the courtyard?
I'm going to roll, because this was a long time ago, but this is also, like, rock, so... Alright, so here's what I'm going to say. So as you guys are walking around the courtyard, you notice that there's a plaque on a very specific brick on the courtyard.
You should toss that out the window, mate.
The plaque is attached to the ground.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Take the plaque out of the ground. Lads! Starts snapping his fingers. Dig this up.
Well, I don't do manual work, but I am down for a bit of petty bullshittery if you'd like
Don't
to.
you? Can't you raise undead slaves? You know, that kind of wicked hoodoo shit.
Well, I'd have to kill someone. Would you like to murder?
I don't think murdering people in the middle of a college is a great idea.
Shut up, DM. You're not here.
Syra, are you arguing with the narrator?
Yes.
I imagine there are some heathens here that we could use.
Yes, absolutely. If you supply the corpses, I'll be happy to supply the slaves. I mean, how sentient do you want them? That's a question. I could make them suffer.
No, that's not necessary. We just need them to dig this plaque up.
All right, take the fun out of it, I suppose.
I'm gonna start looking for heathens. I'm gonna put
Depends
up
on the
like
magic.
a pedestal and start reading from the Bible.
You take a box out of the Iron Bull and you put it down, and then you stand on it and you take out a Bible and you begin reading. So what's going to happen is you're going to do this over time while the other guys go in and meet the Archmage. So over time, I'm going to roll a d20 to see how many people have congregated to listen to your message. So while that is happening, Curtis, Kermit, and Syra are going to enter the Mage Tower and proceed up to the Archmage's quarters. So as you guys enter inside the front door, what looks like kind of it's a younger sort of mage, just sort of running around. Looks like some kind of a scribe assistant type deal. And he comes up and says, "Oh, who are you? Are you new students?"
Sit down, lad, and listen.
Do
You're
I
outside.
look like
You're
a
outside.
fucking student to you?
Well, look, I don't know. We have a new necromancy department. I think they're working up something for a scholarship these days.
Shut up and get the Archmage before I turn you inside out.
Roll intimidation. All right, he immediately shits himself and just looks at it and says, yes, follow me. All right, so he brings you upstairs to the Archmage's office, and he opens the door and lets you inside. And the Archmage kind of looks up at you for a second. His name is Lester, by the way. It's a human, older human, white beard, that kind of thing. And he kind of looks up at you as the three of you walk in, the two frogs and the necromancer. And he looks at the assistant kind of glaringly and then shoos him off. Okay, and he looks up over at the three of you and says, "Hey, who are you?"
I'm gonna come in. What's up, bro?
Well, that's a good question. Why do you require an audience with me?
I cannot
What?
describe how much I fucking hate this frog.
Alright. Check it, Holmes. We were over here fighting with the Golden Dragon, right? And the Golden Dragon has his fucking cloud. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah. Mortimer said he was going to be sending a group of people to come and help me out with my research. I may have something. Just give me a second. I have to grab a couple books off the shelf to show you. So as he's fumbling for the books, I'm going to roll a d20 for Raka, who is still outside doing his sermon. We'll see how many people have congregated to you. All right, so you're starting to form a kind of a small crowd. That's 6 people. So they've kind of gathered around as you've been reading your sermon. You may belt out your insanity as you wish.
And on the first day, God said, fuck around and find out.
They appear to be nodding to you. They kind of get the message. I'll come back to you again in a minute. Lester is looking through his books, and he pulls one out of the shelf.
So when Lester turns around, I'm gonna cast invisibility on myself.
Okay, you do that. So you are now invisible.
Alright.
I'm not gonna roll for him at the moment. So as you turn yourself invisible, Lester is fumbling around with some books, and he comes back and looks back, and he sees that you're not there, but the other two are, and he just kind of looks around for a second. Did he have to go use the bathroom or something?
He likes to jerk off.
Oh, well,
Yes.
Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Either way, as long as I have a few of you here. So he holds out a book, and the cover of the book reads in common, "Magical Accounts." And he opens up to a specific page and points down at it. And he says, "Read that passage. It's the only one I've found so far that might be helpful, but it could involve some diciness. Although I think that your female companion here would be very versed with it."
I don't know how to read.
Okay, what's your intelligence score?
18.
He can still be
Motherfucker, you're the
illiterate.
smartest one here.
He smoked too much green dragon on the way over.
Yeah, no. That actually may be a reasonable
That piece of the
in-universe
table
reason.
aid is fucking with my head.
Kane, if you want to actually try and read it, then I'll make you roll like a Constitution save to see if you can discern it. Cham, you'll be able to read it, but he just won't be able to see you, and Syra will be able to read it normally. So, Kane, if you want to read it, you can roll Constitution, or you can just sit there and whip out your pipe and start smoking.
I'm gonna do the latter.
All right, you whip out your pipe and start smoking. Roll me a Constitution save anyway. All right, so your Constitution isn't too bad. So you just whip out your pipe and you start smoking. You're gonna let your brother, for a fact is invisible because you saw him do it, and Syra deal with the information gathering. You just like to shoot stuff. So as you guys look at the page and you read the account, it goes down a list of a group of adventurers who entered the Elven Forest. And at one point, they came to a temple in search of a bow. The group, which also happened to have one of the former archmages in it, a gnome named Mick, was able to kill the golden dragon using the Staff of Reality. Now, the only problem is, and Lester points this out, is that the only person who knows where the Staff of Reality is Mick, and he has been dead for roughly 400 to 500 years. But he knows where his body is.